Welcome to Discussing Dad Life, where we break down bullshit so you don't have to. I'm Void, this is No, and let's go. And we're back again.
Wellspring Wednesdays.
Wellspring Wednesdays. Game on.
Okay.
All right.
You want to lead it or you want me to lead it? What are we doing?
Well, I mean, it doesn't really matter. I think this is something we both agree on for the most part.
For the most part.
Yeah. I don't know how to word it, though. Yeah, you go ahead.
So what we're going to discuss today is the paternity test for children and the child support payments that are being made by men to children that potentially are not even theirs, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we were talking a little bit before this, and we were talking about how you saw an article where it was 30 to 40% of men are actually not the fathers of the children that they think they are the fathers.
Mm-hmm.
There was one study where I read where it was up to 73% of men potentially.
That's insane.
Yeah. So, and like I was talking about, is it all depends on sampling size, right? So when they put that out, they said upwards of 73% because the sample size might have been small enough where they achieved a 73% result, but logically thinking that's pretty damn high.
Either way, man, that's a good little chunk, man.
Yeah.
30 to 40% or 70, whatever, like you said, depending on the sample size, but that's way too much.
Oh, it is. So there's a reason why men do not like promiscuous women. Mm-hmm. They typically will not wife them up.
Yes.
And the reasoning why is because throughout the dawn of time, through man's existence, the maternity of a baby is known.
Yeah.
The woman carries it and then gives birth. That is known that child belongs to that woman.
Mm-hmm.
There has been no invention until modern medicine and DNA testing that could show whether or not the child was the father's. Hence the reason men typically do not like promiscuous women.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they like that certainty of, that's my child.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Men like promiscuous women.
Yes.
But they will not wife them up.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
So there is a huge difference, and I think women tend to fail to realize this between men is men like women that are promiscuous, but not for the reasons why.
Yeah, they want you to be promiscuous with them.
Exactly, right? But we don't want, if we're actually wanting a family,
yes.
we want someone that we think is wholesome, that has a past. Yeah. So the modern push, like I do like those videos that go around asking body counts and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
Because in modern day, they're just like, oh, a woman's body count doesn't matter. And I'm just like, it kind of does. I mean, your behaviors when you start having a lot of bodies are very different than someone who has low body count.
Mm-hmm.
Does that mean it's true in all cases? No,
absolutely not. There's no 100% that this, you know what I mean?
Yeah. But the pair bonding is better when the body count's lower.
Yes.
The fact that we could have a more guaranteed that the child is actually ours is better.
Mm-hmm.
Stuff like that, right? So, nonetheless, in our history right now, or in modern history, we have a court system that is incentivized to make a non-custodial parent available and to maximize the amount of child support being paid.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the time, that is men that get the non-custodial role, even though statistically speaking, men are the outcome of children from a single mother to a single father actually shows that single fathers have a better likelihood of outcome for the child. Mm-hmm. So the courts are already set up disproportionate in favor of women. And then what we're going to cover right now actually is showing that even more so it's disproportionate favoring women, mm-hmm. which is the fact that men who have been paying child support to a child get a paternity test done showing that the kid is not even theirs, and the court's still forcing that man to pay child support for a child that's not even theirs.
Yep. That's crooked, man.
So my stance on this is anytime that there's going to be a child support payment made, there should be paternity tests done.
Yep.
You need to ensure the child is actually yours. If we're going to make men pay, if we're going to strip men of their custodial rights to their child, mm-hmm. and then force them to pay, we'd better make sure as a society that child's even theirs. Unfortunately, as the article you read and the one that I showed,
Yeah.
we're talking a vast majority of women actually are having children out of that relationship and then laughing and forcing their men
Yep.
to pay for that child that's not even theirs.
Yeah,
This
dude,
isn't even. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, man, it's sad. It's really upsetting, dude, that like that's even happening in society today. Like we. I mean, I like kids. I want my kids. You know what I mean? Like, but for a woman to try to, oh, you know what, force me to pay for something. Like, don't get me wrong, man. I'm not opposed to, when I was single, dating a girl who had a kid already. I'm not saying anything like that. But to like demand, I don't know how to word that. Like to say a kid's mine, because I've had that happen in a situation. Me and my kids' biological mother separated.
Yep.
But we weren't completely divorced yet, and she ended up having a kid with somebody else. It happened twice with her before I got the divorce, and every time she tried to say that was my kid, and it's like, first off, how? You know what I mean? We've been separated X amount of time, and they tried to come at me for child support.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And until I did the DNA test, and obviously was like, I think there should be some sort, even just accusations like that, some sort of a penalty.
So I'm a proponent of anytime that there is a question of whether or not the woman had sex outside of the relationship, you should have a paternity test. I'm an advocate for that. Yeah. So, unfortunately, there's been too many instances in the past where the woman has had cheated and then gets upset, right? So at this point, you need to protect yourself.
Exactly.
Right. Even if that means, hey, you know what? I hate to do this, but
better run that.
We're going to get a paternity test. Even if that ends up ruining your relationship, you're better off ruining that relationship to make sure that child is actually yours.
Yes.
If you're in doubt, if there's any doubt in any way, shape, or form, do yourself a favor and protect yourself.
Yeah.
Because women are it is now shown, we have enough data now to show that women will lie about the father of the child.
It's scandalous.
Yes.
And not all you ladies, not all of you, but it's looking like about half of you.
enough has done it now where it taints the entire thing, right?
Yeah.
That's the unfortunate part is you have such bad people that now it's gotten to the point where you need to protect yourself. This is one of the main reasons why I think there's such a huge rift between the sexes these days.
Yeah.
Is because
animosity between them.
Yeah. There's animosity because the men ain't shit, right?
Oh, yeah.
There's the animosity because men's preferences are demonized. Women's preferences are glorified, right?
Yeah.
Men are not allowed to have a preference. If we like someone that's fit, that's body shaming. Well, no, that's a preference. If we want someone that is, 25 years old and you're 35 years old, that's grooming. No, that's a preference. Right? But it is interesting to say when like a guy goes after, let's say you're a 40-year-old dude and you go after a 22-year-old.
Yeah.
There's shame on that it's shameful for a man to want a 22-year-old. You're wanting to take advantage of her. She doesn't know what she's doing. But then a woman who's 22 years old and she's dating a 60-year-old and she's going after that 60-year-old. Oh, you go, girl. Like, that's your choice. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And I'm just like,
you got daddy issues.
There are some double standards that are not right.
Facts.
And I don't care if a 20-year-old wants to go out with a 60-year-old. Frickin' more power to you.
What happened to age is just a number? Remember that shit?
Oh yeah. Well, age is just a number as long as the girl is the one wanting it, right?
Yep.
If a man's preference is that, you're disgusting.
Yeah.
It's like
you're a cradle robber.
So there's so much stuff in our society right now where everything a man does is demonized and everything a woman does is a preference or justifiable because men are trash, right?
Yeah, we ain't shit. If I ain't shit, why you need my money?
Yeah. Exactly, right? So with that being said, the simple fact is men need to protect themselves when it comes to children, right? We now have modern medicine or
Medical advancements.
yeah, that allows us to actually determine paternity.
Yeah.
And we should take full advantage of that to make sure that we are taking care of the things that are actually ours.
Yeah.
There was that one guy,
Which one?
I can't remember his name, but I know that he went through and he like child was like 16 years old. Come to find out, it wasn't even his. Right?
Had he been paying child support?
I do believe so. But he had raised him like he was his own, right? Spent so much time on it, and then come to find out that it wasn't his. It broke him down so much he ended up ending it.
Unalived himself, huh?
Yeah, unalived himself. All because the
That's
woman cheated, had a child, and then for the longest time lied about it, and he formed such a deep attachment with the child that when come to find out it wasn't his, and she like pulled him from him, he just didn't know what to do anymore. Men's mental health is a huge issue.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, men's mental health is completely different than women's mental health. Men care about certain things, and one of our certain things that we care about is our lineage.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, that's a big thing.
Men like to pass on legacy, and the way we pass on legacy is through building stuff and then giving it to our kids to continue on.
Facts.
Right? Women's legacies typically come from having the child.
Yeah.
Right? As well, but it's in a different sense than men's.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I get what you're putting down, man.
So,
I couldn't agree more with you, actually.
Did we want to go ahead and go over this Tennessee bill?
Yeah. Listen, I want to see exactly, because this bill apparently is like on fire or something. I don't know how you want to word that, but a lot of other places are starting to look into this.
Yep.
And I think that this could be a good thing. This could literally deter women from lying anymore.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it won't stop them, obviously, but I think it would make them think twice about it.
Well, so that actually brings up a good point, right? So women have no accountability through the court systems. Like, right, they can lie about the one dude that R'd him, right? Remember what we were talking about the other week when we were talking about the woman got rejected by this guy, so she made up a story, lied about him. He ended up going to prison. Mm-hmm. No accountability for her for lying and destroying this man's life.
That's
right.
What the heck's that called? Not plagiarism. What's the damn word I'm thinking of?
Perjury?
Perjury, thank you. And like, well, how? Like, the double standard is insane, and it's messed up.
It is. I mean, because a woman can make an accusation like that, and everyone says, "Oh, the man's horrible."
Yeah.
Doesn't
Destroy his life.
Men need to protect themselves because women will absolutely destroy them.
Yeah.
Just because they're slighted in some way, shape, or form.
Mm-hmm.
You could be the most respectful person ever and never have done anything wrong, but you end up rejecting a woman because she's too promiscuous or something like that, and she takes offense to it and says, "Oh, you know what? He drugged me and R'd me."
Yep.
And then guess what? Your life's over, bro. It doesn't matter by the time the courts get a hold of you and come to find out you're innocent, everyone else has destroyed your name. Your name is done.
Yep. Complete defamation of character.
Yep. And this is nuts that our system allows this stuff to happen, and that it's. I mean, remember when Me Too? Amber Heard was the death of Me Too.
Oh God, yeah.
So
I watched that whole trial.
So did I. It was so captivating. It was way better than like most shows.
Dude. Yeah, those soap operas. You know what I mean?
Yeah. God, but yeah, she pretty much put the final nail in the coffin on Me Too, I think.
Oh yeah, her acting skills were horrible.
God. So, yeah, let's go ahead and see what Tennessee is trying to do here.
All right, let's see. Can you scroll down?
Oh, excuse me.
Oh wow, it does. It has the. Okay, let's see. Memphis, Tennessee. A bill introduced to the Tennessee General Assembly would make it a crime to falsely accuse someone of being a child's parent. The bill was originally introduced to the legislator by.
Legislator. Yep.
Yeah. It's been a long week, guys. by Antonio Parkinson from Memphis, who represents part of Shelby County. Parkinson introduced it to the Tennessee House on January 18th, and Senator John Lundberg of Bristol, Tennessee, brought it to the state Senate on January 23rd. The bill, known as HBO 253 and SBO 331, passed the state Senate unanimously on March 20th. The bill would make it a misdemeanor when a person commits parentage fraud. Parentage fraud, as defined in the bill, scroll a little more up, please, occurs when a person seeks to legally establish the individual as the biological parent of a child in the person's custody with intent to deprive that person of property or to prevent that child's actual biological parent from exercising parental rights to the child.
Oh, hold on. That's actually really cool that they defined it both ways, because we didn't even talk about that.
No, we didn't.
Where a woman is so scorned by the biological father that she will actually lie to prevent that person from even having contact with this child.
That's epic.
That is an excellent that they did that. Wow.
Yeah, that's good that they included that. Under the bill, parentage fraud could also be when someone seeks to be legally established as a child's parent and the person knows or should reasonably know that they are not the child's biological parent. Then there are exceptions laid out in the bill, which can be, and read there.
Hold on. So under the bill, parentage fraud could also be when someone seeks to legally establish a child's parent as a child's parent and the person knows or should reasonably know they are not.
So it sounds like...
Well, I'm a little confused on that, because that actually would make it like, so let's say you and your girl have a child.
Mm-hmm.
You should reasonably know that child is yours, right? But what happens if you think that she might have been cheating and she ends up having it and you go ahead and say, no, I'm pretty sure that's mine.
Maybe that's what it includes.
But then it would criminalize you for thinking that your girl was... I'm a little not following that one a little bit.
Under the bill, parentage fraud could also be when someone seeks to be legally established as a child's parent, which is what you said, and the person knows or should reasonably know that they are not the child's biological parent. But I think you're on.
If you have any doubt, why would you want to go ahead and put your name on that birth certificate right away anyway? You would want. So I'm a little confused as to what this is actually trying to prevent here.
I don't know.
And what that definition is.
Well, maybe from the actual like let's say the woman cheats, and she knows that the one dude's not the dad, but he wants to be the dad. So instead of being like, no, you can't, it's his. And so instead of establishing, he just kind of signs the birth certificate.
Oh, okay, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, maybe.
Either way, that's a form of fraud. So I think I understand what they're trying to do.
Yeah, you are right. It is a form of fraud because you are saying something that potentially is not true, knowing that it's potentially
and it's
not
a legal
true.
document.
Okay, that actually does make sense. Then that tracks. Okay, so thanks for helping me walk through that one. I was struggling.
I have my moments, man. Okay, I have my moments. They don't come often, but they're there.
But that's actually really cool that they've basically defined what fraud is, and then they actually, I'm a little upset that it's only a misdemeanor on the case.
Yeah, to be honest with you, I thought it was going to be a little more.
To me, it should be a felony.
Yeah.
Just because it is felonious like that. That is, if you've cheated and you have doubts that your man is actually the father of the child, and you say and you continue doing this, I mean, you basically, there should be more punishment than just potentially.
Well, especially if there's been years of accrued child support, or you ruin that man's life.
Yep. Yeah. I wonder if they're going to make restitution payments, if that would be part of it too.
Well, there was another, and we didn't bring up the article, but there was another article that I briefly looked at, and it said something about the like, let's say there was child support, and he'd been paying for 10 years or whatever. She now has to pay him all back, that child support. It gets completely flipped, and now you owe the state the restitution.
Yeah.
Like, ooh.
That would be good.
That could be a good chunk of change.
Well, I think this is going to help prevent women from actually doing this.
I hope so. I really do. Like,
but who knows? I mean, first it needs to get put into effect, and then precedence actually has to happen where this goes on, where women actually would be like, oh, you know what? They might hold us accountable for this stuff.
And not only that, I think every state should do this.
I would agree with you. I think every state should pull this up. So Idahoan state Senate and House, please look into doing something similar in Idaho. I think that'd be actually be very beneficial for us.
Yeah.
Just because we have nothing right now to hold women accountable for their misdeeds, right? Men take it on the chin, and men. The funny part is though, is most men don't really care, right? Like if it happens to us, it fucking sucks, but we're gonna take care of it nonetheless.
Yeah.
One is because typically men don't have the support structure in the government in order to actually facilitate or make these happen, things happen. So at that point, it's just like we've been beaten down enough where unless we have a freaking stack of cash that we can bankroll it, we're not even going to try.
Yeah.
And women know that because men don't typically fight these kinds of things.
No.
However, with the way our society is going, we need to start actually stepping up and doing something to push back on this, because men are getting to the point where we're getting treated as second-class citizens.
Yeah, but I think with this, that'll help that. If this would go national, imagine, because there's some pissed off people, you know what I mean? Like there's some really hurt individuals because of something like this.
Yes.
And now that there's actually maybe possibly some legal reprimandation towards the other party, I bet you some of this actually, you know what I mean? It gives us that foot to stand on.
Yep. Well, I'm wondering what the pushback on is on this bill.
From the femins? The feminazis?
The feminazis. I imagine they are going whole hog about how this is demeaning to women and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah, dude.
And I'm just like, stop it. Like,
you're targeting us.
Like, men no longer view women as like these perfect
Prizes.
beings anymore. You guys have gone and destroyed the male psyche when it comes to dating and relationships so much that most men don't even want relationships anymore. There was an article actually about this a few months ago where I was actually talking about men between the ages of like 18 and I think it was like 32 or something
I know
like
exactly what you're talking about.
Where they're no longer even wanting to date. They'd rather just work
Play
and play
video
video
games.
because women have become such less desirable people.
It becomes such, like, it seems more of a chore to date than,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, why would, no, you're not my mother.
Yeah. I mean, you basically make one misstep during a date. You're opening, when you're dating this day and age, you're opening yourself up to such world of hurt.
And ridicule.
Oh yeah, you're gonna get made fun of. You're gonna be called a simp. You know, all these things, and then it's not even just the ridicule part. Now you're opening yourself up to legal actions. Just for giving like an unwanted touch, you could end up in prison.
Yeah.
So men are looking at this and being like, "What is the benefit of me even dating?"
See, they're logical creatures.
Men are very, very simplistic. We want to be left alone. We don't want to have to deal with the headaches, the heartaches, whatever. It's when we want to date, we're wanting to date because we're actually wanting something.
Companionship. We want something.
Yeah. But if that companionship comes with all this other heartache, why?
Why bother?
I said it before, and I'll say it again. Women these days want 100% more, and men are getting 1,000% less.
Yep. You have said that several times.
So the math is not mathing on this.
No.
And I'm sitting here watching these things about women saying that they can't find good men in the West anymore. That's because the men in the West no longer want to put in the effort for something that they're not actually getting what they're actually wanting.
Mm-hmm.
Passport Bros is on a rise for a reason.
You're gonna say that.
I'm just saying, dude. Jump on down to Colombia. Go to Central America. Those women.
No, you don't have to. They're already here.
Well, some of them, yeah. But go down. Go overseas. Go to Southeast Asia. These women raised in these cultures are much more feminine, much more likely to produce a happy relationship.
It's so cool to see a woman be a woman.
Yes.
Be nurturing. Like, it's really, I think it's one of the coolest things in the world. Like,
it's the most attractive thing.
Yeah.
I don't understand it. Like, women have the
You're wired that
superpower
way.
to be, when you're in your feminine, you can get men to do anything.
Oh yeah, dude, absolutely.
If you're a feminine woman dating a man, that man will do anything just to make sure that you are happy.
Yeah.
and they squander it. They don't care. They want to
piss
act
on
like a
it.
man. And it's like, if I wanted to date a man, I'd date a man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I'm not looking to date a man.
No.
So yeah, I know Japan's having this issue too, where a lot of women are unhappy with the quality of men there, but men there are not. They're not trying to achieve because, and I'm not sure the reason why.
Mm-hmm.
But I do know that I think it's Tokyo where the single woman is like 80% of the population.
Holy
It's something stupid high because they're typically trying to find Western men because
That's
they can't
crazy.
find it in Japan. And I might have those numbers wrong. I'm not an expert in Tokyo dating or anything like that, but it's something extreme like that.
That's
It's
a
very
lot.
apparent. You know what? I should actually watch that one guy that's actually lives over in Japan that talks about this
I think
stuff.
anything above 50% is a lot. So
Anything getting to 50% is an issue.
yeah.
Like, these things happen. I guarantee this has happened throughout history, but it's probably been super low level, somewhere between like 1 and 10%.
I was
right?
gonna say 5 to 10, but yeah, that makes
But
sense.
any time that we get to the point where we're pushing 50, like on the average 50%, then we're asking
failing.
for trouble in our society,
Yeah, something's wrong.
right? We can have fringes. We're meant to have fringes because a norm is the norm of just like most people, the most amount of people, right? But that doesn't mean that, like take homosexuality for example, right? It used to be where homosexuality was not very, it was fringe, and now it's becoming more and more prevalent. But even then, I'm not sure on the stats, but even now it's not like it's approaching 50%, which is why the society can still balance.
Yeah, I get what you're
Right?
saying.
There's nothing wrong with having those people in society,
No.
right? If you want to be homosexual, or if you are homosexual, you can still function in a society as long as you're not pushing to a 50% mark, because society can balance.
Yeah,
Once you start over saturizing the
Saturating?
oversaturating the whole society with the fringe elements, then your society is going to fall.
Yeah.
So interesting.
Excuse me.
Sorry, that was my phone.
You're fine.
Yeah, I guess. Stop it.
He said, "Stop it."
Oh well, I mean,
I want to know what they think.
say it in the mic. I can't hear you.
I said, I want to know what they think.
I would love to know what they think. Too.
I mean,
You know, and
because we're not dogging on you, women. You know, I just
no. Well,
the liars, man. You got some explaining to do.
they're. We've said it before. Men are culpable for the reasons why the relationships are in downfall as well.
Yeah.
Men today are not putting in effort that they used to put in 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 years
You're
ago.
not really
right?
giving us a reason to, though.
Exactly, right? There's all these things are in fluctuation, but men are to blame, women are to blame. It's not one or the other.
Exactly.
We've said it before. Men need to hold themselves accountable and continue to improve. We know that there are biological triggers that women are attracted to as men. We need to make sure that we're trying to hit those if we want to have a successful relationship. And then women recognize that you are wanting a relationship as well. And if you're wanting this relationship as well, you need to hold yourselves accountable to what men are looking for in the
Yeah,
relationship.
you got to put in the work too, man.
You
It
know.
just does.
So, yeah, I mean, otherwise we're going to be screwed up. So,
Well, we're already there.
yeah, I'm pretty sure that someone's going with
Emotional damage.
just on some of the things we're saying. I'm just saying.
Oh
you
yeah,
know.
dude. There's somebody crying in the corner right now.
The funny thing is, I'm not a relationship expert. I do think relationships are fascinating.
Well, yeah.
Because every relationship is different between a father and a son, a father and a daughter,
Yes.
mother and son, mother and daughter. But then it's interpersonal between friends, dating versus engagement versus marriage. Those are all different stages of relationships that are all it's all very fascinating. But there are underlying truths to every single one of them,
Yeah.
which is mainly respect.
Oh yeah, that's a big one, dude.
And the other really important one when it comes to dating relationships is understanding what is expected, right? So men are very easy. I think, in my opinion, men are very easy.
Yeah.
We're looking for sexual access. We're looking for food,
Amen.
and we're looking for quiet.
Amen.
That's all we're looking for. If you hit those three things, and
Ding, ding, ding.
you're basically providing the trifecta. You're creating the peace in that relationship. That man is going to make sure that he is taking care of you.
Yeah. You know what really pisses me off sometimes?
What's that?
I'll be doing something like working on something, maybe helping out with dishes or something, you know what I mean? Helping out. And then somebody comes in and just takes over.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
oh, it grinds my gears.
Freaking Peter Griffin.
Yeah, dude. Anyways.
Perfect. Well, I think we can end Wellspring Wednesday on this one.
Wellspring Wednesdays.
Yes, Wellspring Wednesdays. What are we whispering?
I don't know.
So, yeah, let us know your thoughts on this. My stance, I'll reiterate it, is I think anytime that there is a single doubt, a shredded doubt, the man should be requesting paternity testing.
Absolutely.
What are your thoughts?
I think that in any situation of a separation or anytime that you're going to be involved, trying to bring in the government, there should automatically be a paternity test.
Yeah. So, you know what? I'm sorry. What happens when we go... I don't think we address this. What happens when a man is paying child support and then finally gets a paternity test, and then the judge still makes them pay child support even though the child is not theirs?
I don't know, man. Hopefully that flips. I mean, there's other things, exceptions laid in the bill, but we're not going to get into that right now.
Well, I'm just curious, like, that's in this particular bill, but I'm talking like in general. What if that judge is already putting those on the books where it has happened already?
Mm-hmm.
How do we actually correct that? Because that's an injustice done from our judicial system to someone.
Well, I mean, if you have a lawyer, I'm sure you could suit up and then
appeal.
Yeah.
Well,
maybe try to get that money back. Like the state has to, reimburse you.
Yeah. Like, oh, hey, you guys basically stole from me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now guess what?
I doubt it's gonna happen.
Yeah, me too. But it's a nice thought.
It is a nice thought.
Yeah, better luck winning the lottery.
Yeah. I think men should just start telling the government.
I'm not going to give you $100.
You have call signs when you're about to hit the button, dude. I'm like, all right, here it goes.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I'm going to go. We're going to do it. Right. All right. Fuck it. I'm out of here. Thank you for watching. Please give us a like, share, and subscribe. Till then, peace.